All right, baby, welcome to that synth show, man. Special episode, we got the Polyend Synth. Absolutely gorgeous looking, beautifully priced. 8 voices, a polyphony, baby, 60 RGB backlit performance pad, 8 synth engines, 3 effects types, 9 customizable combo knobs, arpeggiator, 64-step sequencer, polyphonic aftertouch. It's got the works, and man, the price is so sweet at $499. This Polyend Synth is dropping today when you got synthesizers like the Teenage Engineering OPYZ dropping, or OPY, or whatever they call it, for $2,300. That's not a value proposition. This may be the best value synthesizer for $499 that you can probably get right now, all around music production little box, baby. And if you don't believe me, believe Vulture Culture, because he did the best videos on it. So today we're gonna go over that a little bit, and then we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive. But in the beginning, let's just go over a refresher of what this little beautiful thing's all about. Here it is. Don't believe me. Don't believe your lying eyes. That's $499 for all this. Sweet boy right now. Add it to the cart. You can buy it. When I got home today, I was like, dude, if this ain't on back order, I might just go and purchase it, because I got the cheese. And this is saying please. Okay, so we go down here, just do a quick little look through. We'll jump over to the Polyend site. Let's read the copyright real quick. Ignition start, 8 engines of evocative polyphonic potential. Polyend's no frills, no effort spared approach to designing and building its galvanizing multi-mode instruments is evidenced by the names of the company's offerings. This synth is no exception. Like the permutations of the tracker, the play before it, the synth, a multi-engine polyphonic synthesizer packed with a kaleidoscope of creativity, stirring and teeming with electric fever just beneath the surface of its streamlined minimalist interface is synth engines galore, FX galore, lanes galore, RGB silicon sweet touchpads galore. It's got it all, baby. This is an all-in-one GROOVEBOX that in the beginning I kind of just poo-pooed it, but after checking it out, man, we got a sound we're gonna gear up in a minute. You'll be able to hear all the sounds. We're gonna check out a video, little pros and cons from Vulture Culture. We're also gonna check out Polyend's website because it looks like it's beautifully crafted for a deep dive. But let's get into over here real quick and see this. Polyend Synth, a playful, multi-timbral, multi-engine polyphonic synthesizer, all right? This is from Synth Anatomy, the greatest website out there ever. If you don't know, now you know. I'm the reviewer of the review that the reviewers have reviewed, all right? That's just what I am. If you don't know, now you know. Welcome. Welcome to Samurai Nation. Probably the most fun community on the internet for synthesizers, all right? You know it, I know it. Welcome, baby. Everybody's welcome in Samurai Nation. Let's roll. Okay. Turn that music down a little bit. Always. There we go. Okay. Multi-timbral synthesizers can be playful, hands-on, blah, blah, blah. Polyend shows us that this is the end-of-year surprise, right in time for a stocking stuffer if you got those big old socks like my mama used to make me. Polyend Synth. Original name? Not really, but it's very simple. You got the play, you got the synth now. Using a smart grid feature, synthesizer engine is loaded. It's independently with pads. For example, it's got an arpeggiator sequencer on the first. You can throw a pad on the second. It's grid formatted. If you've used the Deluge or circuits or the play or any of these kind of things, you kind of know what this is all about. It allows you to play 3 sounds simultaneously on a portable device with expressivity using polyphonic aftertouch. That, come on, baby. That's the 2 words of the year, polyphonic aftertouch. If you don't got it, then you don't got it. And there's a couple synthesizers out there for $3,500, baby. You damn well sure have some polyphonic aftertouch in it. Chord mode's intriguing. According to Polyend, you can set 2 engines to followers which adjust their notes according to the current chord. Super cool. Scale, locks, helps maintain musicality by keeping everything within a set of scales, which is always nice if you're trying to groove. Beautiful, man. I gotta say, I do like the design. We got these buttons over here, the tracker buttons, man. We got the knobs, we got the RGBs. It's gorgeous. Piktor Raznicki, however you say that, founder of Polyend, says, our goal was to develop a device that merges complexity with true playability. The synth is designed for musicians who want accessibility but a sonically rich experience. And it's packed with engines, multi-engines. Polyend Synth is not only multi-timbral, but it has a multi-engine to its core, so it's a true multi-synth. 8 unique synth engines. Absolutely awesome. Maximum 8 voices for the entire synthesizers. Low bit. All right, $4.99. We got Waves engines. We got WTFM engines. We got the PMD engine. We got grain engines. All right, we got tons of engines in this thing, tons of sound shaping. But I could read this to you all day. You know what we came for. Let's check out a video on this. We jump over here. Here's the all. We had a Synth Mafia Tsunami. Oh, not Synth Mafia. Sorry, I've changed everything. Since the Synthesizer All Star, we had a Synthesizer All Star release, and we had everyone, baby. We had Sonic State. We had Bo Beats. We had the Harp Lady, Emily. Changed to Harp Lady now, I guess. I think her name's Emily. We had Oh Gazzy Boy. We got them all, baby. Look at them. We got Andertons, which we'll show in a little bit. So anyways, we had the Tsunami come out, and look at our boy LFO Voyager hitting 2.1K with this Mode Muse Poly video. Congratulations, my baby. That was a super hit. You worked hard. You deserve it. All right, so let's jump on over. This is Polyend Synth. Surprisingly, they don't have many videos up, but they got one, which is just the sounds and everything like that. But we're going to check something out a little different. We're going to start off with Vulture Culture for the pros and cons. We've got Toman just to get a little deep dive, because this is a website. If you want to buy it over in Europe, you can go to their website. So we like helping them out. Biggest synth supplier in Europe. Let's roll.
A few days ago I received a package and I was very stoked to see that Polyend is releasing a new synth. So let's check it out together, have a walkthrough of the basic functions, but first let's jam a little bit.
Sounds pretty sweet, right? Right off the bat, let's get a first look at the layout.
Polyphony with 3 different engines at the same time. At the first look, it has some similarities to the tracker. I do really like the simple and classic design, so it's really clean. It feels like high quality. When you turn the encoders, you actually have to put weight in it, and also the pads are really like stable. They are velocity sensitive, and everything is like really, let's say, has some quality to it. Let's dive into the structure of the synth, because as mentioned, you have the grid here, and this is kind of important because compared to a more classic synthesizer, let's say, you usually have the key roll, play keys, but here you can play pads, and actually you can play 3 different synthesizers at the same time. I think this might introduce a different way of, or a different approach to playing a synthesizer, and especially live perhaps. For the basic layout of the synthesizer, as mentioned, we have the grid section down here, and we can choose how we want to structure the grid. Right now we have 3 different synthesizers layout. This is like the first one, this is the second one, and the third one. We can change presets here by pressing Shift and then Preset. And because I'm choosing the blue one, this one is here enlightened. I hope you can see it.
Screen looks good too, man. I gotta say, it looks good. It looks real good. It's an interesting way. Like I said, I'm approaching this from a different style thing. I think, what's his name? Synthseeker did a video a little while ago about the Ableton Move, which is a cool little synthesizer, but to me this blows the Ableton Move right out of the water, dude. Big time.
Choose the preset of just this one. So perhaps let's take a snare.
Let's do it.
And now here's a different one, and here actually is also a different one. But we can change this grid as well if you just want to control.
So you got 3 synths at the same time. You see, it's kind of interesting layout. The sound engines are pretty sweet, man.
So let's say the blue run right now. We have to go to this main knob, let's say, and if we go into the grid, we can use this one here, and then you see it's switching. This is like 3 by 3 blue, and then we have the grid completely just for one engine. So let's have a look on the
For a traditional synthesizer guy who likes keyboards, I know Echo and Uncle Jerry are traditional keyboard synthesizer dudes, and they're not really into these groove boxes. But for $4.99, if you want to test something out and experience something pretty cool, it's a totally different way to sketch out ideas. I'm not sure, we'll see now in a minute if we can MIDI this up to be kind of a little brain or something. I don't know. But it is definitely a very interesting proposition at $499.
section, and here we will find the engine knob, which is there to change the parameter.
If you're not getting my notifications because I'm too hot for TV, baby, I'm been banned, shadow banned, I think. I post too much, so YouTube's got me throttled. So you got to find me on your own. We just got to bust through the ceiling.
Or characters of the engine you have chosen, and in this case we can switch the engines on those buttons here, the blue, yellow and purple one. So let's stick with the yellow one. This one is set to ACD, which is the classic analog mode, let's say. And on the engine, depending on the engine you are choosing, those parameters will change. In this case we have the saw to square ratio.
Right, so I mean, it operates similar to a synth. We get that there, brother. Let's check out the effects. Don't hit me with an ad, come on.
And down here we will find the sequencer, because you're actually able to sequence it and use an arpeggiator. When it comes to effects, the synth is coming with two basic onboard effects, delay and reverb, plus you have a lot of modulation options.
You know we love onboard effects, right?
Let's check out the different engines. This was the ACD mode, so the classic one oscillator analog mode.
I know I say this every time, but I'm probably getting this. So we got effects, we just hear some sounds, let's go.
Square wave anymore, it's more fatness and brightness. And
let's go. Big sound. All right, let's check out another engine. Let's check out the Waves engine, chord mode.
One voice, depending on what you already got.
Let's go.
Let's stick to this one, and we can mode with chords, and we can check
out the VAP engine. You get the idea, right? PhD
let's take
engine.
This one and let's see what this one.
And the Grains engine.
Give you.
Right, so that's kind of cool, man. Let's jump on over here and see what else we got lined up. I got just a sounds demo we'll go through real quick, and then we'll move into a deeper dive. This blows away the OPXY. Blows it away. $500, not $2,300.
Hey kids,
what
do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal?
I don't need no VPNs,
Friday
my bro.
Deal.
All right, so as you can see, we'll check the sounds out. We're going to do a deeper dive here now in a second, but as you can see, this thing at $499 right here, I think you're quids in with this, baby. Let's just get to the specs. Here's all the engines you get, right? You get the Poly engine multi-mode, on-phase distortion synthesis team with tons of tones and textures. You get the PMD using state-of-the-art physical modeling technology, okay? You got the grain mode. This is a dual mode granular synthesizer. You got the waves, the morphing waves thanks to multiple wave tables alongside extensive scanning. You got the VAP, the Poly Synth dual oscillator architecture inspired by the multi-mode multitude of time-tested hardware synths, perfect for rich layered pads, plenty of dimension. You got the FAT engine, constellation of vintage-style ladder filters and 3 oscillators. You got the ACD, the ode to the iconic mono synths. This thing is packed to the brim. It's overflowing with madness. You got the WFM, WTFM, and FM synthesis engine, okay? Textural, trim, and vibrate, whatever that is, 3 lanes, customizable effects. You got modulation effects, you know what they are, chorus, flanger, stereo span, delay, reverb, all the beautiful. You got the rhythm, you got the hands-on, you got it all. But let's check it out right here for a real quick look at what the actual bottom line specs are. Multi-engine polyphonic synthesizer, 8 engines, just read them out to you. There's all the acronyms. High-res LCD, 60 silicon pads, 9 parameter knobs plus pitch, span, tempo, and swing. You got an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer. You got 3 reverb, 5 delays, and 4 modulation effects. You got 3 independent 64-step sequencers. Did you hear me? 3 independent 64-step sequencers. Micro SD card for, obviously, you get a 16 gigabyte card included with it. USB powered. And it's beautiful, all right? So we're gonna get into a deep dive here now in a sec. For anyone who just wants to leave and you just showed up now for a little bit of a good time to see the quick and dirty about the Polyend Synth, an absolute steal of a deal for $499. Like I said, man, I'm just doing this for the love of it, and I think I'm in love with this thing. I might actually buy it because I've been looking for something like this. But, you know, I'm always looking for something. So if you guys are taking off, thanks for joining me for that synth show. If you're sticking around, we'll continue for a deep dive here, baby. Let's go. All right, I just had to shut that down. I'm trying to do something a little different tonight. We're live. Sorry, I did a little. We got in the chat. We got Uncle Jerry. We got Pentasonic. We got QWL Music. We got Lazy Orb. We got Jerome. We got Teddy Bear Assurus. We got Echo Craft. Man, we got them all here. Who else? We got Machines One. QWL Music. We got Andrew P. Tack, man. We got everyone here. Sorry, I was trying to do something a little different with the show tonight. That's why I wasn't acknowledging the chat yet. I'm trying to get efficient, so I figured I would record this live stream. I would do the first little part, 10 minutes, where I was just going straight synth show style, and I had the record button going in OBS. And then I just stopped, hit record. So now I can upload this video as a standalone, just quick take on the Polyend. And now we get to chill, we get to relax, we get to do a little bit of a deep dive together. That's what we call efficientizing, baby. That's what I'm doing. What do you think? I had this pre-recorded? No, I've been right here with you the whole time. Now we can go into the live part of the show. I think this is maybe a little idea I got that might end up working out, because I get 2 videos in one, you know what I mean? I get the live stream, plus I get my little 10-minute video that I just hit record. Now we're still streaming. I'm gonna give it a shot, see how it works. 2 videos, 1 synth. You get it? All right, man, so let's go. Let's get into a deeper dive. Let's check out the Polyend website here. The cool thing about the Polyend website, or just websites in general, I like going and see how much effort they put in. Polyend left all the marketing up to the Synth All-Star team, AKA, you know what I mean. And the Synth All-Star team rolled it out. They did a bunch of great videos. You got Andertons, you got Bo Beach, you got Sonic State did one, you got Starsky Carr, everyone did one. So if you want to look into the synth, there's a little flavor for everybody. You know what I mean? And you can go check them all out. But the good thing is we got each other's flavor here. So we're here in Samurai Nation now to do a deep dive. Beautiful, 500 bucks. 3 synths at once. Simultaneously play. You know, sometimes you just need to talk normal, man. You don't need to get too crazy technical and wild about it, you know? Because I'm listening sometimes to these videos. And man, to be honest, sometimes I can't even compute what they're saying. They're talking and I'm like, I don't know if it's the accents, I don't know if it's the lingo, I don't know if it's the lack of excitement, but I just kind of start tuning out a little bit. So that's why we're just gonna break it down a little more chill. I don't know if it's chill, but it is what it is. What do you think, Uncle Jerry? You gonna buy this big bad boy? Simultaneously play 3 different synths at once. It's way more than multi-timbral. Play built-in sequencer, or enter your notes live. All engine parameters, effect, macros, grid settings can be saved as an instantly recallable scene. Scene based, super cool. You got scene 1, well bam, you got the ACD, the fact, you got scene 2, scene 3. So it sounds huge. It's got great sound. It's a great Great sounding synthesizer. Does it have everything you want? Man, it's 500 bucks. What do you want this thing to do? You want to be able to sit on it and drive it? 500 bucks, you know? Teenage Engineering selling you an OP XY for $2,300. You should be able to sit on it. You should be able to take that thing like a Sea-Doo and take it down to the lake and ride the damn thing for $2,300. Okay? What's up on Faithful Journey? Let's keep rolling. Get my music back on here. All right. Simultaneously operate 3 synthesizers. Select from 8 distinct synth engines. Incorporate 3 effects and add 3 separate sequencers or arpeggiators. That's a whole lot going on right there. You can build a pretty complex track with this right here. We got 8 engines, man. I'm fine with whatever you got going on there. Thank you. We got 8 engines. We got the vape engine we just went over, dual oscillator virtual analog. We got the PhD, a modernized phase distortion engine. We got the ACD. I don't even think I can go over here, can I? Oh yeah, sweet. We got the ACD, the iconic vintage monophonic engine. Okay, SH01 TB303. We got the FAT, the 3 oscillator virtual analog engine. That's the kind of fat I like, man. I like that and bacon fat. That's it. Control massive sounds, delivering deep basses, lush pads, expressive leads, baby. Featuring ladder filters. We got the PMD, physical modeling synth, dynamic controls for realistic instruments. Pianos, organs, harps, saxophones, flutes, you know what I mean? We got 2-mode granular synth engine with a novel burst mode for time, synced or rhythmic grains, cloud modes for big pads, interesting textures. Super cool. Waves, wavetable synth, and WTF, a unique 2-operator FM synth. So I'm telling you, man, for $499, this is jam-packed, packed to the dacrodiliac. Sequencer and arpeggiator. Loving this website. Very clean, laid out very nicely. If you got a circuits, Novation Circuits, sell it. Get this. Sell it and get this. I pretty much think that outside of the Deluge, Synthstrom Deluge, which you need a PhD to operate, this here seems like 500 bucks. If you just went and bought an Ableton Move, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're probably still in the 14 to 30 day window. I'd send that thing right back and I'd buy this immediately, because this basically just destroyed Ableton Move, man. Was this a strategic move? Ableton Move dropped last week, but man, if people bought the Ableton Move for $499, I'd send it back and I'd get this. This is a polyrhythmic sketch pad. You're right, Trondoc. Exactly what it is, man. It's epic. Physical modeling synth, gorgeous. It's got smart grid. Synth is the first device to introduce a smart grid, an advanced technology that allows for single button chords and note followers and always stays in tune. Stay focused and enjoy even the most hectic live performance. So I don't know, we got a little bit of AI creeping in there to help you stay on point. I know listen, Polymuse, man. I understand it's okay. I got to talk to Polymuse directly. This is for Polymuse directly in the chat. Okay. The Ableton Move is completely different, although it's not completely different. All right, my brother? It's not completely different. Completely means totally. Completely means 100%. Completely means there's no similarities. Completely means there's no overlap. Completely means you can't do similar things on both devices. It's not completely different. That's a linguistic fallacy, my boy. They're very, very, very similar. So similar that they're priced exactly the same and they can do similar things, my brother. That's linguistically factual, okay? Now that's enough with Polymuse. I love you, brother, but damn, dude. Do you gotta be the contrarian? Do you gotta be the contrarian every single thing I say? I'm just kidding, dude. It's all good. Slightly different. Yeah, all right, fair enough. We agree. Slightly different. They're slightly different. I'm just playing around, dude. You know that. All right, they're slightly different. Let's keep going. We got the smart grid. Perfect. 3 sequencers, 3 ARPs, 3 chord ARPs. We got the polyphonic aftertouch. This is one thing that just like cracks me up. You got this beautiful $499 Polyend Synth. They've got polyphonic aftertouch built into these pads. And then you got a Moog Muse out there for $3,500 and you can't even get polyphonic aftertouch put in that. So that's just depressing to me, you know what I mean? If this company, wherever they're based, no idea, I'm assuming somewhere over in Scandinavia, Poland, Germany, somewhere over there. I don't know where they are. Over in Europe somewhere. They're definitely not American. But who's going to buy it, Stevie Baby? I think I'm going to buy it, bro. I think you're looking at one of the buyers right here. Polyend is epic. I'm considering it now as well. It's way more epic. Don't get fooled by the looks. Go read about it. Don't get fooled by the 5-minute synth all-star demos that just whip it out and whip it on. You'll never hear from it again. Go watch Vulture Culture. He did about 3 hours of deep diving on this thing, and it will change your whole perspective on it. We'll check his pros and cons out in a minute. All right, polyphonic aftertouch, amazing. Does it have MPE? We'll see in a second. Combo knobs are customizable macros that you can control 1, 2, or all 3 synths simultaneously. So that's beautiful. So you can have like the filter going for one of them or all of them. That's a pretty cool feature. Instantly add interest to your performance with an epic filter sweep or create an exciting build-up with twist of a knob. Super cool. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't want to get into spaceship and blast off. Sometimes you want to do what Synthseeker said, you know? You want to snap into a Slim Jim on the couch and just make a groove and chill and just build up some inspiration. Then you take this little baby back to the spaceship, you plug it into the mainframe, and then well, bam, you're ready to go. I'm tempted too, dude. I'm tempted too. Trust me. I had my card out today. I almost bought this yet. And I was like, bro, go home, chill out, have a little bit of water, give your missus a kiss and relax. And then buy it if you still want it. What's up, Amwo? All right, let's keep rolling. We got the Smart Grid, keeps everything musical. Macro knobs for polyphonic aftertouch make performing live easier than ever. If you haven't used polyphonic aftertouch, you just don't know till you know, okay? You've got to use it to understand it. It's very kinetic and tactile, and it makes you feel like you're more one with the synthesizer, if that makes sense, because you've got contact and then every bit of your movement from multiple fingers is creating different types of modulation per note, right? It's a very, very, very intimate feature to have with a synthesizer. Yeah, I got an MPC, man. What do you know about it? I got MPC Red Demon. I might get rid of that, but someone told me to keep it. Somebody in the US military told me to hold on to the red MPC. Don't know why. He just called. He said, listen, do not get rid of that MPC. He said, hold on to it. You won't regret it. So who knows why he said that? I don't know, but I'm taking it to heart. You know what I mean? Okay. We got 3 brand new effects engines. These are customizable effects. We got delay, reverb, and a modulator. Can be independently routed for each synth or effect engine. Use presets or adjust the parameters to your taste. Okay, that's a huge feature, man. Per synth engine. We got mod, more than basic modulation. It can go from slow, smooth chorus through to a phaser to wild feedback, flanging, or anything in between. Awesome for everybody who loves effects. Delay, double delay engines has 5 delay models with delay lines that can be tempo synchronized or controlled separately. Awesome, we all love the delay. Many reverb sounds created using 3 different reverb modes, natural to add a touch. Realistic space, they got a plate reverb, we got a warp, we got twisted rooms, and we got spiral staircases, okay? So you got a little bit of everything. Fatso, right here, well, bam. Resonance, note track, beautiful. It's cool. Polyend just came out with a compression pedal as well. We'll look at all their products now in a second, but we'll just get through this. Massive sound design, responsive visual feedback, deep customization. Expand it by loading new content like wavetables, grains, presets, or the whole setup. Super cool. Now the scenes section is very interesting as well. Scenes combine synth engines, their parameters, patches, effects, sends, macros, ARP, sequences, and all other settings into a quickly accessible file. Arrange a live set with multiple scenes, access them instantly, or share them with the synth community. Did you just hear that? Share them with the synth community. This is a feature I talked about the Kiviak Instruments Wofi the other day. This open sourcing of synthesizer enthusiast creativity with the ability to share between each other. Now, I don't know, I haven't looked into this enough yet, if this is a free feature and they're gonna have a type of portal. Like I know Kiviak Instruments with the Wofi, you got a portal you can go on and I can get Echo Craft stuff if I want. I can get Uncle Jerry's, I can get Polymused, I can get all their stuff if I want. For free. It's cool. We got full control. Polyend Synth is a sound designer's dream. It's got 3x3 knob matrix and a dedicated parameter buttons to provide all the controls you need to quickly create advanced patches without menu diving. I'm gonna turn this music down a little bit, hold on. I'm trying to get it just right. Is that music too loud or how is it? Let me know. It's hard to tell. All right, anyone going to Boston for Synth Festival over the weekend? What's Synth Festival? There's no Synth Festival this weekend. That was last weekend. George G's went. The Synth Seeker worked there. All right. Full control. Just did that. A responsive visual interface. Gain a deeper understanding with a beautiful, beautiful screen. Massive. Like, what are you doing, Korg? What are you doing, Korg? Polyend's putting out a $499, absolutely insanely powerful 8-engine synthesizer, GROOVEBOX, whatever you call it, whatever you want. It's an absolute epic 8-engine instrument, and they got a beautiful, beautiful screen on there. And Korg can't even get a friggin' screen on their OP6, WaveState, or ModWave without charging you $700-800 for it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Expandable, customizable. It's got SD, USB setup. You can share in customizable patches, effects, and scenes. It's simple. Expanding engines, loading your own wavetables and grains. Cool. Tech specs, in and out. It's got stereo line, in, headphones out, MIDI in, MIDI out, USB. In the box, you get all this kind of stuff, right? Doesn't matter. Weight, what's the weight of this baby? 2.65 pounds, no problem. Side chaining, what else we got down here? Let's check this video out. What's this all about?
Wait. Where was I? Right. I'm stuck in a 4-bar loop.
Ooh. Ooh.
Brain position.
Brightness.
Damn.
Physical monitoring.
Oh.
Modulation matrix.
Yeah, sold. Sorry. All right, you know what? That video just sold me the synthesizer. That video right there just sold me that synthesizer. Because it piqued my curiosity. $4.99. What are you gonna do, man? What do you guys think in the chat? You think this is legit? I think it's legit. I think it's deeper than what we think. I think it's more powerful than what has been led to believe. I think the Synth All-Stars did a great job with the rollout and the initial marketing. But I think if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, we're gonna head over to our boy right here. Where is he? This is Vulture Culture. So amazing dude, awesome streams, absolutely love him. Synth love, you know what I mean? Not man love, synth love. I love the man, and if he's repping this thing, this guy has touched every analog synthesizer you could possibly imagine. Probably every single one on earth. There might be one other guy who's touched more, and it might be Hans Volt, might be John Costello, I don't know, but I know Vulture Culture has touched them all. As you can see behind him, that's not a green screen, that's all vintage gear he's got behind him. Amazing channel. But let's just check out his pros and cons here, because I want to see what he says about it. Are you ready?
Hey, let's talk some pros and cons about Polyend Synth. In lieu of a typical list, I'm going to give you examples of who I think the synthesizer is for, as well as people who I don't think Polyend Synth is a good match. Polyend sent me the synth to check out, but the following opinions are my own. So the first example of someone Polyend Synth is a match for is someone who wants to play live without lugging a big ol' synthesizer with them. The form factor is phenomenal and
That's us. That's us. That's us. Right? Isn't it? You want to play live? Live doesn't mean going to a concert. Live sometimes means just on your sofa or in your bedroom. You want to play live. You want to get outside of the DAW. You just want to set up a groove and get lost in your headphones, or you want to throw it on some monitors. That's also what live means. Vulture, you're speaking my language, baby.
Easily the greatest part of the design is being able to control 3 synthesizers at once with 2 hands. They really knocked it out of the park, and the way that you could change the layout to make it work for you is incredible. I could absolutely see someone showing up to a synth jam or a gig with just Polyend Synth and some drum machine, and you're good to go. Always having 3 synthesizer engines active, so you've got your bass, pads, and leads always covered from one instrument. It's really something special that they've done here. And the sound engine is more than enough to deliver some really complex, interesting sounds. It's much more than bread and butter stuff, especially when you get into the physical modeling and granular stuff. Obviously, I only scratched the surface with those engines.
That beard has so much analog warmth in it, it would probably blow your mind. There's so many, that beard has been shampooed and bathed in the sonic bubble bath for years and years and years, and that thing is so full of wisdom, synth wisdom, it would probably blow your mind, I think. Absolutely fantastic. Did you know that in the Vietnam War, there were Native Americans who were tasked, and all the rest of the military had to shave their heads, but the Native Americans did not. Their long hair was considered an antenna, which they could pick up movements way far off because frequencies would hit their long hair, and it would act as an antenna to the ether where they could tell movements were coming from different areas. Look into it. It's pretty crazy. That's why also, you know, in the Bible, remember when they shaved Samson's head, he lost all his power? So if you've lost your hair up top, like our boy Vulture, grow it down the bottom.
This video is already long enough. I could probably do an equally long video just talking about those 2 synth engine types. So unlike a lot of other gizmos at this price point and form factor that feel a little bit more like toys than serious studio instruments, I do think Polyend Synth is a studio quality instrument.
Boom, studio quality instrument. You hear that? Some guy made a comment today. I was talking about the friggin' teenage engineering $2,300 synth scam. That's, if you want to talk about an Espen Craft synth scam, talk about the teenage engineering product for $2,300. But this here, he was like, what'd he say? He goes, pro gear costs pro money or something. I'm like, bro, give me a damn break. This is studio quality gear. This is pro quality gear for $500, okay?
That you could play live out with, and that's awesome. The next person I think Polyend Synth is a perfect match for is anybody who wants to get into polyphonic aftertouch on a budget. Coming in $100 cheaper than a Hydrasynth Explorer and $300 cheaper than a Hydrasynth Desktop, which I think is the most comparable model because it's got the polyphonic aftertouch pads. Polyend Synth is an incredible bargain, and unlike some other polyphonic aftertouch synthesizers that have somewhat...
Yeah, I know, exactly. What are you talking about studio quality? Anything that makes no... You know what studio quality means? It's the quality inside you. Not the studio that creates the quality. It's the synth renegade that creates the quality, not the studio. The man, the woman, the furry.
Cheap feeling keys or pads. I think the pads on Polyend Synth feel great. They're very expressive. I never had any double notes or anything like that. It just worked perfectly and did exactly what I wanted it to do all the time. And even the mighty Hydrasynth Deluxe is only bitimbral, so Polyend Synth might be one of the only synthesizers ever to allow you to play 3 synthesizers with polyphonic aftertouch all at the same time.
Did you hear that? 3 synthesizers with polyphonic aftertouch enabled all at the same time. That's out of this world, insanely great tech. It's crazy that this little box can do that. What I'm curious about is, are you able to control this via a keyboard? Can I use my Hydrasynth Deluxe to control this synth? That's an interesting thing I'd like to check out. Also, I'd like to know if these 3 synthesizers could be MIDI'd out into 3 separate synthesizers. Do you know what I mean? With the sequences going. Let's check. Let's see if he lets us know.
And finally, the third type of person I think Polyend Synth is a perfect match for is actually a beginner. Sometimes when you call a synthesizer a beginner synth, it sounds like a pejorative, like I'm saying that Polyend Synth can't do as much as other synthesizers. But that's not the case at all. What I mean by a beginner synth is at $500, I can't think of anything that beats it in terms of value.
Digital Doom's in the house. Careful for the code.
And if you're using the acid or fat synth engine types, it's very simple to get your head around. There's not that many parameters. The mod destination menu has been greatly simplified. But on the other hand, you can go all the way from that to some seriously deep synthesis with the physical modeling, the granular, and the phase distortion. Really complicated sounds with a lot of modulation routing going on. And it's all very simple to do. I really think the screen is critical here because if it wasn't a perfect integration with those 12 knobs, it wouldn't work. There's been plenty of synthesizers that have had a set of knobs that changes depending on what menu you're looking at, where it's so easy to get lost. But I was never lost using Polyend Synth. It's just very intuitive. What you see is what you get.
And this is the beautiful thing you want in one of these machines. You don't like, I'll give you an example. When I bought the MPC 1 Plus red one, when I turned it on, I turned it right off. All right, I turned it on. It was zero intuitive. It was annoying. It was frustrating. It made me think that it was a hunk of junk and a piece of garbage. And I basically didn't touch it for months. And then when they brought out the MPC 3 firmware, I turned it on. I was like, oh, finally, you made this usable for someone who just bought it who could turn it on. So hearing him say that the knobs are laid out perfectly, I think it's pretty cool, man. Imagine to buy 2 units and make a jam. I know.
Everything's laid out very clearly. It's masterfully done. You can tell that they've taken their experience from Polyend Play and Tracker and translated it to this product. Also, with the ability to play 3 instruments at once, a beginner doesn't need to multi-track or anything. They can just play it out. And I can't stress enough how powerful that follower option is in the grid types. Being able to latch a sequencer and play an arpeggiator and have the pattern change based on what note you're playing with one finger, that's huge.
The Poly Aftertouch relies on the pads, yes, but as you know, for example, with the HydraSynth desktop, you can use a polyphonic Aftertouch enabled keyboard and use that to control the synthesizer. So that's what I'm curious about as well.
That means you can do an entire song by playing one finger at a time with your left hand and play leads with your right. I'm surprised no one's done this before because now that I've seen it, you can't unsee it, sort of a thing. It's very clever. And again, I only scratched the surface. I barely talked about chord maps. That's huge too, that you could do custom chords for each pad. I mean, the sky's really the limit. Now let's talk about who I don't think Polyend Synth is a perfect match for.
All right, this is who it's not for. So get ready. If you're super excited, and he's going to burst your bubble if this is you.
The first would be someone who loves big, warm, vintage analog tones.
There you go. I mean, exactly. You're not going to buy a Polyend Synth if you want a friggin' SH-101 vintage synth or a Soviet Polyvox, or you want a gigantic pad machine. You know, you're just not going to love this.
That's just not what Polyend Synth excels at. I think it's a proudly digital synth, and even when it's doing virtual analog, it sounds more like the JP8000 than a Jupiter 8. I think the synthesizer really excels in purely digital types of synthesis like phase distortion, granular, and physical modeling. And then you've got the wavetable and virtual analog modes there for your more bread and butter type sounds. They sound good, but they don't sound particularly analog at all. And if you want to get a digital synth that has the flexibility and power of digital, but can also fake analog pretty good, I do think Modal and ASM have better options for that. Polyend Synth to me has a very sort of 90s sheen about it. I mean, I don't know.
Damn, we like the 90s, don't we?
They're really doing granular synthesis in the 90s, but you know what I mean? Like the tone of the synthesizer sort of harkens back to that era.
All right, cool. So let's check out. He got a little Blade Runner patch I wanted to check out. Probably get hit with an ad, so hold up. There we go. Let this play through. Free plugins. 8 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Goodbye.
And wow, we could either shift scene or hold down the engine and scene and change the preset. But in this case, if we just go to engines, let's go to FAT for that virtual analog sound. And then in it will get us a initialized preset for the FAT engine. Let's start with the filter. Turn the resonance all the way off. And in this case, just the upsaw is fine. We can bring in some noise too if we wanted. How this all works. Let's bring the cutoff down. And OB24 and OB12. I'm going to go with the 12.
All right, you get the idea. That's Vulture Culture. Like I said, let's go to his site for a second. Awesome dude, great channel. He does live streams. I think he does live streams every Wednesday night, maybe. What does he do? It's either 8, 8:30, or 9. I'm not sure. Let's check it out. I might have one geared up here. Live. Yeah, it doesn't say what time he goes live. But anyways, he's got these two videos. He's got the absolute powerhouse video he just did on this. And then this one here is awesome. I highly suggest if you got 2 hours, go watch this 2-hour live stream. He digs deep into this thing. And this is probably the video that made me say, you know what? I'm probably going to get this thing. That one right there. So let me just see if I can copy that. And I'll throw it down in the chat for you guys if you guys want to load it up now so you don't forget. There you go. That's Vulture Culture, baby, right there. Live stream. Awesome. All right, leave my music back on. So what do you think? What do you think of this, man? It's gorgeous. It's powerful. It's $499. Okay? Right here. 499 bucks. Beautiful. I might get it. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to go back later tonight before bed. I'm going to watch a little more Vulture Culture because Vulture Culture, man, something about that man's voice. Listen, you don't want to listen to me if you're trying to bring your cortisol down. I probably bring cortisol up, but Vulture Culture brings that cortisol down to perfect homeostasis, and he's a wonderful guy to listen to. I got nothing but love for the guy, nothing but love for his channel. And he's insanely knowledgeable, man. I'm a synth caveman, all right? This guy's a synth Socrates. I'm a synth caveman. Vulture Culture is a synth Socrates, all right? So what do you think? What other news? Let's check some other news since I got you here, just to see what we got going on, because I think they dropped this. We got this right here. Might as well cover it for a second. Because it came out the same day, and I know Polymuse, baby, they're not the same thing. I understand that they are not the same, okay? I'm never talking about synthesizers because they're the same. I'm just talking about them because they're similar price, they make noise, and we all got money to spend, so we're all trying to figure out where we're spending our money. So you got the Teenage Engineering OP-XY. Looks pretty cool, to be honest. I like the look of it. It's very Sonicware. It's very live and ambient Zero-esque, you know. For 239 bucks, you can get that, or 2,300 for this. But it is pretty powerful. That's the thing. OP-XY came out this afternoon. Teenage Engineering. What do we got going on here? Gray buttons, OLED screen, black interface. Unlike the OP1 Field, which is about tape-style recording, the new Teenage Engineering OP-XY is all about sequencing. As a reminder, the OPZ mastered this feature perfectly and is still one of the best, most creative instruments. Is it though? Creative sequencers. But this here is 5 times the price. So, you know what I mean? 5 times the price for this one. You get 8 gigs of storage, 512 megabytes of RAM, ultra-fast processing power. At its core, you've got 16 tracks, 8 instruments plus 8 aux, 9 patterns per track for 99 scenes, surrounded by a synthesizer and a multi-sampler, allowing you to pull samples from several zones simultaneously, 24 voices of polyphony, multiple unique synth engines, 8 in total, and 3 unique samplers plus a drum sampler. Okay? Composed like building blocks. You know, Teenage Engineering always makes their stuff look clean design. You can't knock anything about that. Their stuff looks fresh. Fresh as a mother. But this is the problem right here. Where are we? This is the problem right here. $2,299. That's the problem. Funky but functional. Old Ricky T's. Let's check it out for a quick sec. See if it works.
This is the Teenage Engineering OPXY, and today we're going to cover some of its pros and cons while I take you through my typical workflow with it, and by the end of this, you'll have a way better idea of what it can do and can't do, and whether or not you should spend, wait for it, you sitting down, $2,000 on it.
I love Ricky Tenez. Ricky Tenez is amazing. He did that Bob Ross spoof with the Novation Peak and the Able to Move. I thought it was one of the most genius videos I've ever seen in my whole entire life. So I love Ricky Tenez, but man, this friggin' thing, $2,299. Give me a friggin' break. Like, this is $2,999, and let me show you this. This is what's crazy. Watch this. Watch this. Reverb, Polybrute 6. Watch this. I'll show you this right now. Watch this. Watch yourself and watch this. I looked at this today. Low to high. Look at this. Polybrute Noir. $1,500. Free shipping. B stock. All right? You know what B stock means? It means it was in the friggin' store and a few people played it, is what that means. $1,500 for a 6-voice, absolute insane analog monster, or where are we? Or $2,299 for
All right,
this.
let's check it out. Now, Teenage did send this to me to check out, but making a video on it was my choice, so they have no idea I am about to roast the shit. So here's the dope track I made on this thing. Pretty sweet, right? Got a couple little variations in here. Little lead line. But this is besides the point, right? So let's start from scratch. I'm gonna go ahead and go into our project manager.
All right, let's see what you don't like about it. That's all we want to see. Add, watch.
But outside of those things, it's just an 8-track GROOVEBOX with a built-in battery, speaker, microphone, and a whole world of potential upgrades and updates, but those aren't for you to decide on.
Exactly. Polyend Synth blows this thing out of the water, and it is 1/5 of the price.
Right, but what is your decision is if you think it's worth it or not.
It ain't worth it, bro. I love you, Ricky, baby, but that ain't worth it. I'm sorry. It ain't worth it at all. Not one bit. All right, man. I think it's about time for me to get some dinner. What do you guys think, man? Is anybody thinking about getting the Polyend Synth? It's cool, man. They got lots of cool products. Let me jump over here before we go. Go back over here. You get a friggin' Polybrute or a Polybrute 6 for the same price as a Teenage Engineering. Like, give me a friggin' break. Let's check out some of Polyend's other products before I leave. What do we got? Menu, products. Here they are. So it's pretty cool. They got the synth. I like this one here, actually. This cool little analog stereo compression pedal they came out with. I was like, wow. I was like, that's interesting. Come out with a compression pedal, but they got lots of cool synthesizers now. So the compression pedal is a very cool idea. The multi-engine polyphonic synthesizer here. They got the Tracker standalone audio workstation. I don't know much about trackers. Maybe you guys do. I heard the play. The sample synth-based GROOVEBOX is very, very enjoyable to use. And the Polyend Play Tracker Mini. They've got the Tracker Silver Edition. Tracker. Cool company. But this one here is special. The synth and the Play are in line with what I'm into. The Tracker, not me, but these two, very, very cool, man. Very, very cool. So that's it for the show tonight. I got to dart because I got to get to bed early. I'm glad I covered this. I'm going to really think about whether I'm going to buy this or not. I think it would be fun to play with. I do love digital sounds. I'm not a huge fan of classic analog. All that stuff is not my thing. So $4.99, man, it's a good deal. You know what I'm saying? Giving the people what they want. Yeah. Polyend Synth looks easy to use. I'm going to keep you posted. I'm going to keep watching videos on this. But like I said, go watch Vulture Culture's live stream from last night titled Revolutionary. It's 2 hours. Goes deep. He made me get up this morning and say, you know what, I'm probably going to go buy that Polyend Synth for $500. All right, so you guys take it easy. You know I'm down. You know you're down. Funnest game in town, baby. Let's go with that synth show. Slow, slow.